Alright, what up guys? N Shadow here,
Captain Paul as well.
bringing you guys a new commentary today. You know, a lot lately I've been talking to some friends who have actually had some really hard times in their lives, and they've resorted to cutting or to otherwise hurting themselves to feel some kind of relief from that. And we just wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about that. Paul, what are your thoughts on the whole topic of cutting?
Well, on the whole topic, like in general, not even just cutting itself, but just making your basically making it so that you hurt yourself. I think you should try to look for a different outlet, because if usually it's people that are just at like such a low that they
Right.
feel like the adrenaline rush from that cutting. I've known a few people close to me that did do cutting. For one friend, I'm not gonna name him, it got really bad. He actually got rushed to the emergency room one time. So my whole topic is, it's just you shouldn't do it. You should really look for a different outlet. Talk with friends. You should know that you're not alone in the situation. Your friends and your family are always gonna help you through this.
Right, right. And you guys, I mean, for some of you, you've never even encountered this really, and you might think of these kind of people as weak or as something like that. But let me tell you, from my personal experience, when you're in a situation where nothing in your life is going right and everybody is against you, and I don't mean like you're completely obsessed with yourself, and if somebody's not for you, then you're against you. I mean, not that kind of stuff. For example, if everybody you talk to appears to hate you, if everybody you associate with in public or at your house or at school or anywhere, at your job, whatever, if everybody glares at you and treats you like shit, then you're naturally going to feel bad. But the thing is, for a lot of people, and especially for younger people, when they're treated like this by the people that they love and they care about, then they feel completely rejected, to the point where the frustration is not something that can be relieved by tears. It's not something that can be relieved by thoughts. It's not something that can be reasoned out. Very often it's not even something that can be fixed by therapy or by counseling. It's something that they have to cope with in the most extreme method possible. And the way to do that, of course, if nobody else is going to help them and the people that they love are all treating them like crap, then they're going to have to try to go to extremes with themselves, which means naturally that they'll start cutting or something like that. And if you're one of these people, what I'm talking about when I say it's not easy to stop doing that. It's not easy to avoid doing that, because it seems like the only way out, and it feels like the only way out, but it's not. I can tell you it's not.
No, it's not. And you should definitely, I'm not going to try to repeat which, Dylan said this very well, to be honest. So it's really hard for me to come up with a follow-up, I'll be honest with you. But, you should never, and I'm not excusing this because I don't know your situation personally if you are doing this, but if you feel like you have to, if you feel so low that you just resort to this type of, self-harm, then you should either, seek help or maybe talk to friends. Because I know that's helped a lot of my friends, get out of it. Because, they felt like their parents didn't care. And, they just didn't think their life was worth it anymore. They thought, it was a way out. And
Right.
I don't really believe.
And when you say talk to friends, guys, he's not talking about your typical friends. I mean, the typical friend for somebody who's hurting. Let me put it this way. Your standards are automatically lower when everybody that you know is hurting you. You're not going to be able to think critically of the people that you choose to be around, because you're looking for any way to feel relief, and you're looking for, those few people to help you out. And the problem is, those few people have their own mindset. They have their own ideas and their own opinions and their own, way of treating people. And very often, those kind of people are very selfish or very unhelpful to any situation, and they're not going to help you through what you're going through. So what you're going to want to do, of course, in this situation, is not just try to make friends, but try to make friends who are going to be helpful in this situation. Try to make friends who are going to be there for you and to help you through this. And that means don't go around trying to make friends with people that are trying to make people laugh by insulting others or getting drunk and all that kind of stuff, living for themselves or putting others down just to feel better themselves. That's not the kind of person you want to be around, especially if you're trying to get out of something like this. The kind of person that you want to be around is serious. You know, they take your issues to heart. They are nice and they care about what's going on, and they're not going to put you down in any way, and they're not going to make you feel like you're being put down. You know, they're going to be there for you, they're going to talk to you, and they're going to be your friend, and that's the kind of person you want to look for. It is sometimes hard to find, especially, you know, in my experience, it's damn near impossible to find a friend like that, but just keep trying. Just keep trying, and you do have support on the internet. Now, we've talked about this before in another commentary. The internet is probably the worst place to get support for anything, but there are support groups, and I mean, you know, there's people like us that really reach out to you guys. You know, we know what you're going through, and we know that it's extremely difficult, and we know all the crap that you have to deal with, you know, both in person, on the internet, wherever you are, really. And
Right.
it's just it's terrible, you know, to have to go through that alone. And we just want you to know that you're not alone. And there are, you know, lots of places online. There are friends that you can meet online, but more importantly, there's places you can go to talk to people. For example, if you're feeling suicidal, you know, you can call the suicide hotline. If you're feeling alone, if you're feeling, how would I say it?
Like emotionally distraught.
Yeah, just completely empty. If you're feeling gone, if you're feeling absent, then I mean, you don't want to just find anybody to talk to. You want to find somebody to talk to that's going to remind you of your life,
Right.
of living.
And the thing is, you know, and if you guys are in high school, because I know probably, like, if you get the people that will be watching this will either be in high school or maybe even college, the type of friend you want to look for, and like, let me even go to a high school level, is not like the popular guy or like the funny guy, like Shadow said. It's more of the guy that you know will be with you no matter what, and will have your back no matter what. Because the friends, like the frat boys in college and stuff like that, those people don't last. They could give a fuck less, you know?
Right.
And you gotta look for somebody that's gonna be, you know, deep. Like, you know, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be philosophical, but has to be deep in a sense where, you know, he's not gonna be like, oh, you know, suck it up. He's gonna help you through your issues and talk it out. That, you know, I've had like my best friend Gio, here, you know, he helps me out with some issues I've had, you know, personally, like depression and stuff. It's just, you know, it doesn't have to be these numerous amounts of friends. You know, if you just have just one friend that you can help, just talk and just relate to about a lot of issues, then, you know, you'll feel like you have a million friends if you have just that one good friend, in my mind.
True that.
Yeah.
And the thing that most people forget is that, and this is really cliche, don't try to like put me down for saying this, but each person is uniquely beautiful on their own. They each have something about them that nobody else has. That's what's beautiful about humanity. We each have a different skin pattern on the outside, just like we have a different personality on the inside. Each one of us. Whether we're twins, whether we're completely alike in our interests, whether we're, you know, we both ride Harleys and we both don't talk a lot, and we both wear glasses, you know, sunglasses, and have mustaches, and we're manly and kind of fat, you know. I mean, it doesn't matter how closely alike you are to somebody, you're still completely different. And that's
Right.
what makes us all unique, you know. There's something about you that nobody else has. There's something beautiful, there's something to live for. There's something for somebody else to love, always. You just have to be able to make it through this time so that you can find that person that is going to love everything about you and love the fact that you are unique.
Alright, so you know what, I know a lot of you aren't religious, and if you are, well, that's kind of good, but, like, let's say, for instance, that, you know, you believe in God. You know, it says in the Bible that, you know, distinctly, and I don't know, Shadow, like, you can agree with me that, you know, if you do commit suicide, that it's like a mortal sin.
Well, if you commit suicide for a reason other than... Okay, let me put it like this. If you kill yourself to run, to escape pain, that is, in my experience, that is what God will not accept in heaven. And I mean, people have the need to escape from things. You know, they have to run, they have to get away. But sometimes people don't. They refuse to look at the good. Like, in
Right.
my experience, in my whole situation a few years ago, I refused to look at anything good. You know, there was a lot of good things going on in my life, and I refused all of them. And I said, you know what? If I can't have this one good thing, I don't want life. And that's when I tried to, you know, starve myself to death. And it actually worked, and it was actually effective. And when I died, you know, I went to a place that I can't even really explain. But I know for a fact, based on that experience, that God is real. You know, no matter what anybody says, no matter what religion bullshit there is circulating out there, no matter what is going on, I know that God is real, and I know that hell is very real as well. And that's what has always scared me away from that, and that's why I want to express to people how much you really do have to live for, because you may not see it, but that's what faith is. It's knowing that in your future you will find a reason to live, you will find a reason to be around. And
Right.
it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be quick. You know, you might have to wait a few years before you find relief, but you will find relief.
Now,
That's a promise.
and let's say you know you think you know Dylan's thing, and I'm not offending you, but let's say you think Dylan's full of shit, which
Right.
I don't believe. But let's say you're atheist. Would you really want to end your life after only living 15 to 20, 25 years? Which
Right.
isn't a long time on this earth. I just don't see.
There's so many people out there just like me and Paul that would love to be, you know, hanging out with you, love to make your life better, because we can show you just how awesome life can be. I mean, just having a friend, just having somebody to hang out with is awesome. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter who your friends are, as long as you guys hang out, right? So why would it matter to you? I mean, why would you choose somebody that's a dick to be close to you when you could choose somebody awesome? But when you choose a dick, they only push you further to the brink of, you know, personal extinction.
Right. No, that's so true, because they wouldn't know how to help you out in this certain situation. And like you know, when people make friends, they don't usually put into the account of like the moral fiber of the person, because you know, how would I put this? Like all right, let's put frat boys for example, like or people on Jersey Shore, for God's sakes. It's just those type of people you don't want to be around, or shouldn't be around.
And those there are a lot of type of people, maybe not, you know, to the exact characters that you're familiar with, but there are a lot of people that have certain outlooks and certain perspectives of life that are completely what do you call it? Disoriented, disorganized. I'm not sure what the word is that I'm looking for. But they have a wrong perception of reality, because they're just out of it.
All their priorities are out of whack, basically. You know, they
Right.
would rather focus on getting wasted instead of, you know, helping somebody out. Because actually, there's a few people in my past that would rather get like wasted and high instead of helping somebody out in the time of need.
Right.
And
Lots of people like to live for themselves, and you guys just gotta find somebody. And by find somebody, I mean stick around long enough to meet somebody that's gonna be caring for you. You know, real friends, real people don't just care about themselves. They don't just live for themselves. They live for others. They live to better the lives of the people that they're around, and they're not gonna shy away if they're turned off by something like if you're, you know, really depressed and you can't really have a good time. They're going to try to make you have a good time. They're not just going to say, oh, well, we don't want to hang around that. No, those are the kind of people that live for fun, that live for themselves. The kind of people that you want to be around are the people that are going to love you and be around you and hang out with you and seriously care about you.
And lift you,
Now,
and
of course, they're not
lift you up basically when you are down in a dark place.
right, and they're not going to put everything down and completely consolidate their life to one goal, which is to make you happy. I mean, you know, we don't have time for that. People cannot put their whole lives towards another life. We can't do that. You know, as humans, that's not possible. So don't expect somebody to completely revolutionize you. Expect somebody to help you revolutionize yourself.
Basically, yeah, I agree with that. You know, basically trying to look at something like try to look at life at a brighter perspective, basically, the lighter side. Can't always, you know, look at the glass half empty. Because honestly, you know, if you are doing these things, you're honestly in like a mental place where you just, you know, I don't want to sound cheesy, but you're looking at a basically half-empty type of mindset. You should be saying, you know, what's good with your life.
And even if you have, you know, less than a pint in a freaking 3-gallon jug, look at that water and be thankful for it.
Right. There's always somebody that's way worse off than you. That's just, you know, I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all, but, you know, for God forbid, like...
Even for the lowest people on earth, there is somebody less worse off. Because even for the people that are in the lowest positions with no food, with no shelter, with no water, you know, basically anybody that's in such a terrible life position, they have things to be thankful for. And of course, if not anything in our own personal lives, there's scenery. You know, enjoy the sunset, enjoy the sunrise, enjoy the mountains, enjoy the hills, enjoy the trees, enjoy the freaking grass, for crying out loud, and I don't mean weed.
Knew you were gonna say that. Just knew it. But you know, so Dylan, I think we're kind of getting towards the end of our video, so you know.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close it up here. But guys, I mean, this is a huge topic. There's a lot more to go into, so feel free to leave us some comments, send us a message, make a video response.
Yeah.
You know, do webcam. I have a webcam. I can respond back to you with the video. I can, you know, we can Skype, whatever you want to do. If you're having problems or something like that, you just want to talk it out, let us know. You know, we'll be the counselors. We won't offer advice right off the bat. If you'd like it, we'd be happy to help. But mainly we're just here for you to talk to and here to let you know that you're not alone.
Right. You know, just if you need anybody, we're not just these like YouTube people that are going to be complete dicks. So, you know, we're actually going to respond and try to help you out. So.
True that. So you guys have a great day. And oh yeah, the reason we're doing this, of course, is because today is Self-Injury Awareness Day, March 1st. So wear orange. Bracelet, shirt, pants, whatever you got. You can put an orange ribbon as your profile picture on Facebook. You know, let everybody know that you support people that are going through a really rough time in their lives and trying to hurt themselves just to relieve themselves of the pain. So.
All right, guys. Well, yo, this is Captain Paul here with.
And Shadow.
And we're Weapon Gaming. We're
Peace
out.
out, guys. Thanks for watching.
Peace.